This is not a drill. The Nationals have finally signed a major league caliber player in the year of 2024. What a time it is to be alive as the Nationals have signed Michael Soroka, former All-Star with the Atlanta Braves. This is an intriguing signing, although I will say it's a little bit of an overpay.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as the show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, check us out over on Twitter, and of course, wherever you get your podcasts. Again, search Locked On Nationals. We'll let us on Apple, Spotify, and of course, over on YouTube as well for the video version of the podcast. Later on in today's program, when will the next domino fall for the Washington Nationals? Will they make a splash move? And also, someone who is on the Nationals' radar is no longer on their radar because he has signed with the Houston Astros. That is first baseman, Gold Glove winner, big slugging bat, first baseman Christian Walker, who is off the market, signed with the Houston Astros. We'll discuss that a little bit in today's program. In the second segment, do we still need help in the starting rotation? Because Michael Soroka was given a 1-year, $9 million deal. He is going to be in the rotation, but I've got some thoughts on that. We'll discuss that in the second segment of today's program, but we get into it reacting to the Michael Soroka deal as he is a Washington National. But you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll start with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started. So the Washington Nationals, they have signed Michael Soroka, a 2019 All-Star with the Atlanta Braves. At one point in time was one of the brightest pitching prospects in all of baseball. In his first full rookie season, was dominant with the Atlanta Braves. Since then, injuries. You might be asking yourself, well, last year, Ryan, he's only started in 9 games. And you might be wondering, what did he do in those 9 starts? Well, he had 43 2/3 innings pitched, a 6.30 ERA, only 4.9 strikeouts per 9, a 1.512 whip, and his opponent OPS was at 856. But he also appeared out of the bullpen, in which he made 16 relief appearances in 36 innings pitched, had a 2.75 ERA, 15 strikeouts per 9, tripling what he had per 9 innings as a starter, and also a 1.222 whip. Opponent OPS, 594. Legit, very good stats as a reliever, but he is not going to be a reliever as a Washington National. My first overall reaction was, okay, I'm fine with this deal. But then as I get deeper into it, I don't know if this is going to be a starting pitcher come July. Hell, he might not even be a starting pitcher on opening day. And no, he's not going to start on opening day. That's not my point. I don't even know if he's going to be in the starting rotation on opening day. And the reason why I say that is my projected rotation as of now is Mackenzie Gore, obviously up there, Jake Irvin, DJ Hers, and of course, Cade Cavalli eventually as well. Cavalli's not going to start up on the Major League roster. Mike Rizzo has already addressed that. Davey Martinez as well. So Sakura does fit in as that 5th guy, but we do need help, and we'll get into that a little bit later on in today's program. But looking at the numbers here, Soroka has not been an impactful starting pitcher since 2019. That's how long it has been. He missed the entire season of 2021 and as well as 2022. In 2023, bounced back a little bit, made 6 starts, came out of the bullpen 1 time for the Braves, had a 6.4 ERA, really did nothing. Signed with the Chicago White Sox this last offseason and started off really rough, Overall, the numbers were fine. 25 appearances, 9 starts included there, 79 and 2/3 innings pitched, and he looked decent as a reliever in the second half of the season. But the Nationals are making this guy a starter. And this goes back to 2 off seasons ago when the Nationals signed Trevor Williams. And on this very podcast, I was saying, yeah, he's a major league caliber pitcher, which I think Soroka is. Or Soroka. I keep on saying Soroka. It's Soroka, Travis Soroka, one of your Nats top prospects. Michael Soroka, one of the top guys. I'm going to say that all season long, so get ready for that. But I think this is kind of one of those Trevor Williams signings. He's not, at this point in his career, I'm not willing to bet on him being a good starting pitcher. Although, let me say this. I do think he could be a good to solid relief pitcher. And we were talking about this a lot, just kind of behind the scenes. No one was ever expecting Soroka to be a Washington Nationals target. Well, he already met with the media. The Nationals have made this official. He is going to be in the starting rotation, and that is really what appeared to be the case when we first signed him just a day ago or so. But I'm here to tell you this. I'm not 100% sold on him being a guy in this rotation. I'm not buying into the belief that this is going to be your final starting rotation addition this year. If it is, we're in trouble. Because let me tell you this right now. You're losing Trevor Williams, which I know I just kind of compared him to Soroka, but Trevor Williams was actually pretty damn good last year. Was probably your best starting pitcher overall. You're losing him. Mackenzie Gore, we expect to take a step up. You also look at guys like DJ Hurst, who I think is very good and really will take a step up this season. I think Jake Irvin, from what you saw in the first half in 2024, I think that is the real Jake Irvin. Maybe not to that extent where he was playing on an all-star level, but I think he is a very good pitcher and an above-league average starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. I don't know if Soroka is going to really affect this rotation in a positive light. But I'm also not here to say that it's completely impossible that this guy does turn it around and can find that success of when he was a top prospect. Because again, the injury history is real. And this is something that he has battled for multiple seasons now. But then again, if you look at the timeline of his injuries, it's just one of those things where it's hard to look past. Because even then, before he tore his Achilles, when he tore his right Achilles back in 2020. And then in May of 2021, he had another Achilles surgery. And then he had a torn right Achilles yet again later that year. So this is someone who has had a lot of injuries over the years. And also back in 2018, he had shoulder inflammation, which I don't necessarily think is that big of a deal. A lot of starting pitchers have that in today's game, but it's something that you have to consider here. And at this point in time, I can't really get on board with the fact that this is going to be the next stud for your Nationals. He could be, but I'm not buying into that at this point. This, in my opinion, is probably going to be a reliever come midsummer. And if so, I think that's okay. Because again, this guy could be a very good reliever. I was talking to one of my buddies about this the other day on 106.7 The Fan. And he posed this question. Well, basically, we just kind of gave up Kyle Finnegan for Michael Soroka, considering they're both around $9 million. And the Nationals chose to go Soroka. Who would you rather have? Kyle Finnegan or Michael Soroka? And I don't mean this in any bad way to Finnegan. I'd rather go with Michael Soroka. Because number one, even the small possibility that I give him to bounce back and be a starting pitcher, I think that's worth it for where the Nationals are today. And number two, the fallback option of him being a bullpen guy. He has proven, at least with the White Sox, that he was really damn good in the back end of their bullpen, eating up innings, doing a good job at it. If so, then you've got yourself a relatively good bullpen piece who could even be something. Because again, looking at his age, He's only 27 years old. He's still figuring it out. He is a big 6'5", 250-pound guy from Canada, which I also love, by the way. I love Canadians. I think this is going to be a very intriguing signing. But overall, him as a starter, I'm not all that sold on it at this point. I'm not convinced that a year from today, or a year from in 2025 on December 20th, I don't think we're going to be talking about, man, what a signing Michael Soroka was. Extend him now. Give him the world. He's back. He's better than ever. I don't think that's the case. And it shouldn't be the case, by the way. You should not be giving the pressure of being that kind of caliber player to someone like Michael Soroka at this point, who has battled injuries and who's been through the ringer so far in the big leagues. But next, are the Nationals done? Well, I can tell you this. They should not be done in the free agent market, and they certainly should not be done in the starting pitching market. I'll tell you all about that after we tell you about our friends over at Rocket Money. And did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? That definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize that I was still paying for, and Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's a subscription, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon, rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Now, I'm going to tell you guys about our friends over at SelectQuote and the World Series, Super Bowl, the Olympics. The world's top athletes get to play in these top-level sporting events thanks to one thing: teamwork. And teamwork can also protect your financial legacy and your family's future. SelectQuote's licensed insurance agents are the perfect teammates when shopping for customized, affordable life insurance, and they can find you the right policy to keep your financial legacy safely in your family's zone. And of course, I can tell you all about the importance of having strategies to win in both sports and life. The leading strategy for life is having the best life insurance on your bench with SelectQuote to protect your legacy and, of course, your family's future. So when you do this, you can have all these policies, and the policies are made affordable and really more affordable than what you think. And you can get coverage for up to $1 million for as little as $20 per month. That's right, $20 a month. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/lockedon. Go to selectquote.com/lockedon today to get started. That's selectquote.com/lockedon. So the Nationals, they've got their rotation help. At least they say they do. As you know, Michael Soroka is a Washington National, but I'm here to tell you they need more at this point in time. If you're going into 2025 with Josiah Gray, who's going to be on the shelf, Cade Cavalli as well, who's going to be starting in AAA, most likely working his way back up into the majors, we discussed what the rotation would look like with Soroka in there. Mackenzie Gore, Jake Irvin, DJ Hers, and of course, now we have Michael Soroka and Mitchell Parker. Cade Cavalli could be coming down the road. I'm here to tell you that this rotation is simply not good enough. This is not going to be a team going into postseason baseball with, number one, the mindset of winning. I can tell you that right now. The way that this Nationals team is constructed as far as a pitching point goes is unacceptable if you're going to be playing in October baseball. So you might be wondering, well, what's the fix? I'm here to tell you there probably really isn't a fix for this offseason. The only fix that I could think of is if you were to spend money. And I know I've been beating this drum just like every other Nationals fan out there, just like all the media members up to this point. But there's nothing that you can really kind of hang your hat on if you're a Nationals fan to date. You've got 2019. You've got these top prospects. But we know that this organization is capable of spending money. And I do think in this scenario, that's simply what you have to do. You do have Travis Sikora, who's going to be making his debut. I talked about maybe this upcoming season, you could see that, but there is an outside chance of it. That's likely going to come in 2026. You need rotation help now. And I think sitting here today, this rotation, again, is not only not October baseball worthy, but hell, it's not even really Major League Baseball worthy at this point. I do believe in some of the pieces here. Mackenzie Gore, Cade Cavalli, Travis Sikora coming down the line. I think Josiah Gray could be solid. I think DJ Hers has potential to be a really good left-handed pitcher. But again, where does that really get you to? And what's the ceiling of that if the Nationals do decide to make a move like that? Speaking of the Nationals and what they should go after, if you're a Nationals fan, you all know out there, you need a first baseman. And really, you just need an overall power bat. Well, there was a name out there, Christian Walker, the Arizona Diamondbacks first baseman. I was on record earlier on this offseason saying, I don't want him. I want Pete Alonso. Well, as the offseason has kind of gone on, has made me realize I think Christian Walker is probably the best possibility out there if you're a Nationals fan. And the Nationals did not give him the money from at least what it sounds like. He just got a 3-year, $60 million deal with the Houston Astros to really kind of hold down that first base position after they got rid of Jose Abreu this past season after just being a bust of a signing for them. But I think Christian Walker, again, was like one of those guys where he's not the flashiest player out there. But again, he solves some of the needs that this organization needs. And why I tie that into the Nationals and needing more rotation help is because, again, it's going to be annoying to some of you out there, but you have to try to invest in this team through free agency in order to take those next steps. I just don't think we're there yet. I don't want to say this, but financially we are there. And they are capable of doing that. But also John Fisher is in Oakland, or when he was in Oakland, then they changed over to Las Vegas because we all know what. But even him, he's giving out big contracts to Luis Severino. Maybe not be the smartest, but again, he's showing something. The Nationals, they can make moves like that and more. You've seen them do that with Max Scherzer. You've seen them do it right before 2020, after 2019, with Steven Strasburg, giving him $250 million. You've seen it when they offer Juan Soto the biggest contract in baseball history up to that point. Now, I'm not saying you go make those moves, and I'm not saying you offer the world to Corbin Burns or try to move your entire system for Tariq Skubal. I'm not saying you do that. I don't think anyone should, by the way. But you can make savvy decisions like your Christian Walker and kind of realize where you are at today. And where you are at is in the gutter of baseball. In order to get yourself back, I think, in my opinion, you have to spend through free agency. And then you go from there. Because overall, this Nationals team, they're ready to take those next steps. But in order to take those next steps, it's not just on these rookies. It's not just on your Joey Meneses of years past, as well as he's not even in this organization anymore, but you understand the point. It should not be on them. And I don't think it will be on them moving forward. But now, if you really kind of get into it with the Nationals, when will the next domino fall? And what could that look like in free agency? Well, we'll answer that after we tell you about some of our very good friends over at FanDuel and get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. You get a hunch in the middle of the game. You can check out the latest stats view, live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll start with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That is FanDuel.com. And maybe this weekend you've got a Terry McLaurin anytime touchdown score. That is what I've got going up against the Eagles. But I do have the Eagles on the spread, unfortunately. So I have that in a parlay. It's going to be a good Sunday. So never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on YouTube. Again, Locked On Nationals. That is where you'll find your daily coverage of the Nats. So going into free agency now, the Nationals, they are going to spend eventually. How much? That's probably a better question for someone else at this point, because I truly do not know. I could be wrong, and they could be in on Pete Alonso. That's my ideal scenario. But the Nationals, they still could be in on other free agents, maybe who are not the best. At this point in time, with the Nationals, as far as first base goes, I think it's going to be Carlos Santana, the 38-year-old who's going to be 35 come this April on opening day practically. And he'll be your first baseman. I guess that'll be fine. But overall, I think at this point, just anything. Give me something. And also, of course, as we were talking about with the Nats, you got to go after starting pitching. You just simply have to. Sean Manaea, left-handed pitcher, really figured it out with the Mets this last offseason. Maybe he's a viable option for you. Again, for the fun of it, Max Scherzer, throw him out there. Maybe you decide to bring back Trevor Williams and give him another run. Mike Clevenger, Michael Lorenzen, someone of that caliber. Jack Flaherty, if you really want to get into it. But those are just some options at this point, and we'll see what the Nationals do. Thank you guys for sticking with me today. I've had a sore throat, trying to rest it, but I made it through with this hoarse voice. So luckily, I made it through. But you guys enjoy the Nats. I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good one. I'll see you Monday.